Hi friends, my name is Al or Lilstarnerd, and welcome to today's episode of The Grind Don't Stop. Today is kind of a bit of a draw with me, so grab your sketchbook or some homework or whatever it is you've been putting off, and let's get some work done together. Also, super quick, gentle reminder to subscribe to my channel because next week is going to be the sketchbook tour, and I know how much you guys like those. So if you don't want to miss it, you may as well just subscribe now, right? Right. So this is the last page of this sketchbook, which I filmed doing the last spread of my last sketchbook, and I'm sure I'll continue to do it, but this time is extra significant because I finished this sketchbook in about 3 months. So that's honestly, that's kind of a lie because I did start it in early to mid-December, so it's more like 3.5 months, but the 3 months thing is important. I decided in December when I started this sketchbook that I wanted to try and finish it way faster than I normally do. These sketchbooks usually take me about 7 months, and honestly, that's just too long for me. Originally, I was going to try and finish it in 4 months, but then I thought, if I do it in 3 months, I could have a new sketchbook tour 4 times a year, and that'd be pretty sick. And so that's why the 3 months thing is important. I need to make myself believe that I already did it in 3 months, and that way, I know I can do it again. So yeah, I have this goal this year to complete a sketchbook every 3 months, basically. And if it falls through, if I decide I don't enjoy it, if I don't do it for literally any reason, that's fine. I'm not gonna force myself to do an art task that I don't wanna do or that sucks the joy out of art. But so far, we're on the right track. There are a couple reasons I'm doing this. One, I've been a little less motivated lately to do art for myself, by myself, which meant I wasn't drawing in my sketchbook all that often. 2, I really like working in my sketchbook, and I really like completing them and being proud of the final product. But the biggest reason, to be honest, is the channel. I don't want you all to think that I'm selling out or that I'm doing something I don't want to do, because trust me, making a mini challenge out of stuff and giving myself little goals and side quests is genuinely fun for me. But obviously there is the benefit of sketchbook tours doing really well on my channel, and I realized that being able to put out a new sketchbook tour every quarter could really, really help my channel avoid these dips that I sometimes experience, and they really stress me out. So it's a win-win. So for the rest of December, I try to get as many pages done as possible, and then I split up the remaining pages into 3 parts and put little tabbies on the pages that I needed to get to by the 1st of February and March. I think for January, February, and March, I had about 18 or 19 pages each to complete, and this coming sketchbook, it'll be 21-ish pages each month, and honestly, that's not that many pages a month. When my job is art and I spend pretty much every day doing art, 20 pages in 30 days is not hard. Theoretically, at least. And so in this video, I want to tell you guys about my time speed running my sketchbook. People do way more in way less time, and some people do way less in way more time, so I'm not going to compare myself to anyone else, just my past self in this video, but I hope you guys don't compare yourselves to me either. Some people don't finish sketchbooks, some people sketchbook hop, some people take years to complete one sketchbook. We're all going at different paces, and there's no right way to keep a sketchbook, so there's no point in comparing ourselves, you know what I mean? So first off, let's talk about the pros and cons of making myself complete a sketchbook in less than half the time it normally takes me. The positives. The biggest one that I noticed and really, really appreciated is that I never really got bored of this sketchbook. If you watch any of my previous sketchbook tours, when you look at the last few pages, they're always half blank, super low effort. Clearly, I'm just desperately trying to use up the book so I can move on to the next one. There's always this period at the back end of the sketchbook where I'm so sick of it, I'm so bored of it, and I just can't wait to finish it and start a new one, and that never actually happened in this book. To be fair, you'll see it in the tour when it comes out. There are some low effort pages near the end, but that's only because I was doing stuff in a really weird order for filming. So I was having some logistical things that I had to work around, and I had to think about okay, what's gonna bleed through, what can go here. But in general, I never got sick of the sketchbook. It never felt like it was dragging on for way too long, and that's never happened to me in a sketchbook for a long time. So it was really, really nice to not end this sketchbook hating it. It definitely made me draw more frequently. Knowing that I had to get a certain amount of pages done within a month made me draw at least something nearly every day. And when I needed to take a break, I still had the wiggle room to do that. But it really made me realize how much time I kind of sit around and waste that could be used for stuff like art during the day. And so I feel like I was a lot more productive in general because I was just doing a lot more art on the regular. I also feel like I experimented a bit more. It wasn't always good. Like, I did some things literally just to take up space or to finish a page because I was behind. But in general, drawing way more often encouraged me to try and do different things because I didn't want to draw the same thing every day. There were multiple times that I would sit there and think, like, what the hell am I gonna draw? Like, what on earth would I draw today? And I would end up doing something totally new or just different to the norm, and as a result, I think I have a much more interesting sketchbook. At least I was definitely more interested in it while I was drawing it, if that makes sense. I think the time crunch also kind of helped bring back the old spark of my old sketchbooks, like the fun, mishmashy, collagey type vibes. Because I was so desperate to fill the space faster, I feel like I ended up having more fun in this book and doing weird and cool things, rather than worrying about making like aesthetic pages and spreads, you know? Now let's talk about some cons of the experience. The biggest one was that I ran out of ideas really, really quickly. Before, I would really only draw my sketchbook if I felt the urge to, like if I had some sort of idea or specific motivation, so I would usually have some idea of what I was going to draw. But this time, I basically had to do something every day, whether I had an idea or not, whether I was motivated or inspired or not. And so pretty quickly into the sketchbook, I found myself spending a lot of time just like staring at it, wondering like what the hell I was supposed to do. I think it definitely sparked innovation and experimentation, like I said before, but it was honestly a little draining. And it was frustrating at times when I just didn't want to force myself to draw, but I had to in order to make the deadline. I wouldn't say it sucked the fun out of doing art, not at all, but there were definitely days when I just didn't want to deal with it. I think another downside is that because I was rushing and half-assing a lot in order to keep up, there's quite a few pages in the sketchbook that I'm really just not like happy with. That happens in every sketchbook, and also sketchbooks are not meant to look perfect and pretty, so I'm honest, like I don't care. Like I'm not worried about it, but I will say there are some pages in there that I look at and almost feel embarrassed because I feel like it's glaringly obvious that I just didn't even try and that I was just trying to take up space. I definitely think the pros outweigh the cons. Like I think I came out of this first 3-month sketchbook feeling good about the process. I don't feel like exhausted or like I don't want to draw anymore or like I need a break. I think I accidentally hit like that perfect balance here. I don't know if that will be true forever, but for right now, I definitely feel good about it. While there were definitely some downsides, I feel like they're all downsides that I kind of deal with anyways, even when I take forever to complete a sketchbook, so I'm not really like losing anything in this deal, if you know what I mean. The thing that surprised me the most, even within a few weeks of the sketchbook, was that like it wasn't hard. I was fully prepared to fail within the first month. I did not have much faith that I'd be able to do it. I definitely thought that if I did do it, I'd feel burnt out by the end, but I don't, and it was honestly kind of easy. Okay, well, all right, well, not easy, but it wasn't hard. Like I said, before I was only drawing when I had like some sort of urge to draw, and I had no real motivation to do any more than that. It's not that I couldn't, just like why would I? But with this deadline and like reason to draw more, it was really easy to just sit down every day and do some sort of art. But there were some days that were harder than others or took longer than others, but overall, it wasn't that bad. I think it also taught me that I don't necessarily need motivation or an idea to draw. Like, it was harder and less enjoyable to draw without inspiration or motivation, but over time, it got way easier to do. I think that if I continue this challenge of completing sketchbooks like this, I think I could honestly learn to be more creative and think out of the box and to come up with ideas to draw even when I'm uninspired, which is not something that I thought would happen at all. I think one of the major benefits is that I was getting way more mileage because I was drawing so frequently, and I think one of the best ways for improving your art is mileage, to just do it like a lot. So I think if I kept doing this, it could be really beneficial. Like in the long run, I think it could really help my art improve. I'm not sure that I feel like overwhelmingly positive about the experience. Honestly, right now I do, but I'm also coming off the high of like officially completing it. And I took notes while I was doing the sketchbook for this video, and I noted a few times that I felt really unsure whether or not this was helping or hurting me. On the one hand, there were all these pros I mentioned earlier, but on the other, there were definitely times I felt really uncreative and discouraged. I definitely plan to continue cranking through sketchbooks for now. Like I said, if it ends up not being good for me, if it burns me out after a while, I'm calling it off, because getting more sketchbook tour videos is not worth me not enjoying making sketchbooks, you know? But for right now, I feel good about it, and I'm honestly super excited to start my new sketchbook and to finish it within 3 months. So that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this spread process. And if you have any thoughts on time-limited sketchbooks or how you keep your sketchbooks, let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and comment. Please subscribe so you don't miss the sketchbook tour and all my other videos. Go take your vitamins, clean your kitchen, and go do some art.